Hey, what's up everyone? This is Jim from Outershell, and in this video I'll be showing you how to install our new top tube bag. As you may have guessed, the top tube bag mounts on the top tube, and to be honest, the overall installation is actually pretty straightforward. If you had no instructions at all, you'd probably be able to figure it out. But in this video I want to show you a couple tips and tricks and how to get it just as dialed as possible on pretty much any bike that it fits on. So our top tube bag includes all the hardware and the straps to either strap it directly to the top tube or use existing bolts if your bike is equipped with those. And as part of the design process, we actually surveyed a bunch of different bikes that have these mounts on them. And while the spacing between the two bolts is pretty standardized, it's about the same as what you would see on a water bottle mount, the actual placement of them on the top tube varies quite a bit. So as you can see on our top tube bag, we do have these two slots. And these slots, the placement and the length of them will accommodate the vast majority of off-the-shelf bikes that we've seen with these mounts. But we have seen quite a bit of variance, like I mentioned. You know, some small frame builders will move them up really far forward, or some random brands and models have them a little bit further back. And even though these two locations on the existing bag accommodate the most common placements, we have included, so this is actually the plastic sheet, the frame sheet that goes inside the bag. It adds some rigidity and all that, and it adds some sturdiness to where you're mounting it. The holes on the plastic sheet that are inside this actually accommodate a wider range of mounting locations. So if you needed to use the bolt holes in any of these to get the bag, you know, as dialed or as pushed forward on the next to the head tube as you want on your own bike, you may you could poke through the fabric, and these holes will be there so that you can mount them there. But we didn't poke through the fabric just so there wouldn't be too many holes all over the place. And once you've figured out how you're going to bolt it on the inside of the bag, there's actually a piece of foam. It's going to be hard to see, but I'll show you a close-up. There's a piece of foam that you can pull back, and it'll reveal the slots inside the bag where you would put the bolts in. And we have two of these bolts here. You can use the existing ones on your bike, but the ones we supply are steel, they're nice, they're heavy duty, and 4 washers. And to do this to get this installed as sturdy as possible, you're gonna wanna put one of these big washers on the inside of the bag, on top of the plastic, poke it through here, and then you'll want another washer on the bottom, so the stiffener that's inside the bag is sandwiched by these washers both inside and outside. And once you have that set up, you can take the bolts off your bike here. These bolts are a little bit softer. They feel like aluminum, so I'm going to switch to the steel ones just to get it on there that much stronger without risk of stripping the heads or anything like that. And I'll kind of fast forward through this part as I bolt this on. But as you can see, I'm just doing the bolt washer sandwiches, and I'll be putting them on the bike here. Okay, so I'm just finishing tightening this up now, and these bolts are on there pretty good. I'm going to take this little piece of foam, tuck it back inside, zip it up, and then the third attachment point is this cord that goes around the head tube. So I'll show you a close-up of this too. This goes around the head tube, and you loop the piece of elastic cord over this little cord lock here, and you'll want to tighten the cord lock to create some tension. And I did this on the drive side just so that you could see it kind of, but I'll kind of turn it around to the other side because it's just where I like to keep it nice and tidy and tucked. But yeah, this is the bolt-on installation. It's ready to go. You'll notice I slid this all the way forward, so it's nice and close to the head tube, give you maximum clearance here, just that little incremental amount. Plus it just looks better. And yeah, you're all set for the bolt-on attachment. And so next up, I'll show you how to do the strap attachment, but I'll go ahead and take this off, and I'll come back in just a second. Hey, so I'm back here again with the bag removed so that I could show you how to mount it with the supplied straps. And the straps that we include have a rubberized backing so that they're non-slip and they hold the bag really sturdily. It's not going to be bouncing around a lot. It's not going to be slipping forward and back. We're pretty happy with these straps. They're actually made for us in the East Bay. And on the back, they have a Velcro material that is both hooks and loops. It's not going to get snagged on fabrics as much as a traditional Velcro does, but it does hold really strong. So we're super happy with how that turned out. On the bottom of the bag, there's a bunch of slots where you can put the straps, and I actually usually put them in the very front one, and I like to put one in the very back. kind of similar to a bike with a long wheelbase or a car with a long wheelbase. You know, it's just going to be that much more stable, moving back and forth, just going to move a little bit less. And the strap installation is really not that hard. So once you've slotted those in, you'll thread it through. In the beginning, I like to keep these kind of loose until I find the exact position I want, and then I'll tighten it down a little bit more. So I thread these through, go back and under, and I'll put this all the way forward. And then similar to the other installation, we've got the cord here, goes around the head tube, cinch up the cord lock, tighten that down. And then I like to just turn this out to the non-drive side rather, just to kind of have it out of the way, looking good in my opinion. And there you have it. So it's strapped onto the bike, it's not going anywhere. The one exception to the standard strap installation process is if you have particularly a carbon mountain bike where this whole head tube, down tube, top tube junction is all filled in, like sometimes it's solid carbon up to here. You have two options. So one is to move both straps toward the rearward positions, and those will hold the majority of the bag, and then the front head tube will keep it stable. The other option is to use a longer strap. So we have these 15-inch Voile accessory straps that you can buy separately, and they would thread all the way down around the down tube and the top tube and go to the bag. So it would just keep it that much more stable. That's, you know, in particularly if you don't have a spot here where it would wrap just around the top tube. And that's pretty much it. You know, this is the bag. This kind of bag can go on multiple bikes, and I would suggest that if you're going to be doing that, you know, the strap mounting method is probably the way to go because you can kind of just leave it on there, stick it on any bike, or put it on a friend's bike if you have a spare and they want to borrow it or something like that. But if you're going to keep it on one bike for a long time and you do have the bolts for it, that's kind of just the sleekest way to install it. So I would recommend that for that kind of situation. Cool. All right, thanks a lot. And if you have any other questions about installation or fitment or anything like that, go ahead and leave them in the comments. Send us a message on Instagram or email the website. And thank you for watching. Bye.